welcome. How are you doing today?
Nice. And you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm glad to hear it. All right, ready to get started?
Yes.
We're going to do some Charleston today, right?
Okay, nice.
All right, cool. Let's talk about basic Charleston concepts. Now, there's actually a lot that has to do with the hips. And the thing about the hips is that the hip is a bone. It's not itself a joint. We have a joint that is underneath the hip, and we have a joint that is on top of the hip. So there's actually two different ways that people approach the Charleston step. One way is by using the lower hip, or the lower joint on the hip that connects to the legs, and it doesn't engage the body. But what we actually want to do when we're dancing Charleston is really try to get the upper part of the hip, the upper joint and the upper part of the hip engaged. So that when we do a Charleston
So
step,
the whole pelvis, yes?
the whole pelvis is involved. When I take a step, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm stretching my stomach muscles and allowing that to go back, and then allowing myself to take that step. So the rock step is with the pelvis back, the whole hip bone pulled back, and then as I come forward, I'm going to lunge it forward into the kick. Try to think of it as your hips are leading the motion. So the whole idea is that as you start moving, if I'm moving backwards, then the hips are coming backwards. As I'm changing to go forward, then my hips are going to start recovering that position and going back to forward again. Okay? Let's try a few Charleston. 5, 6, 7, and a rock step, kick, step, kick, step, a rock step, kick, step, kick, step. One more. Step, kick, step. Now going back looks really nice, but we can actually go further forward. So one of the things that we think is like, we have a tendency, especially in Lindy Hop, to stand in a bit of a duck position, like with the butt behind us. And because of that, we don't always feel how far forward actually is, like how far we can go. So I want you to feel this for a second. You can put your hand right on mine, okay? Give me your hand.
Good.
So I want you to feel this. This is more like how we might be standing for Lindy, right? And I'm actually going to pull the hips underneath, but this is centered now. This is forward.
Okay.
So you can actually see how much stretch there is between these positions.
Yes, the range is very big.
The range is very big. So if I'm doing a Charleston step and I only come to here, that's very different than here. Exactly. So now it's your turn, right? I want to feel you stretch forward as much as you can. More. Ah, there we go.
Okay.
Nice. Now all the way back. Yes. Try to leave my hand right where it is and move only your hips. Nice. And back. One more. Forward. Perfect. Now let's just kick forward. So we lift up our foot, extend the hips forward, and kick. Okay, hold up. One more time, drop the leg. Pick it up, extend the hips forward. There you go, and kick. Nice. Good. Okay, now the other leg. You relax, pick it up, extend forward, and kick. Yes, this is going to be a very new feeling because we don't normally stretch that far for just about anything that we do. But if you want a really dynamic, powerful Charleston movement, something that looks very expressive and very powerful, then you want to get the hips engaged. And
so it rotates just before the kick, yes?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. So one of the things about getting good Lindy Hop posture is about folding up your body as much as you possibly can in order to get good flexibility. So I want you to keep your chest up straight and come straight down. All the way. Okay, now, this position that you're holding right here, it's a good stretch. Lift up your heels. There you go. And go ahead and sit down in your heels, just like that. Deep breath. Yeah, okay, relax your chest. Nice. When I say bending your heels or lifting your heels, that's because the whole leg is folding into these pieces, right? And as long as every joint is active and bent and has the ability to move farther, then we've got more access to more of our body and can do more things. Come up and sink down the same way. Yes, there we go, with the knee, with the ankles bent, right? Slower. 2, ha, 2, ha, 2, ha, 2. Put your hand on your belly and feel the compression. You want to feel that stretch as much as you can. So I don't see it yet. Let's try it one more time. I'm going to check you here, okay? Kick. Yes. Okay. Now a lot of that is being done, you're kind of doing this with the chest, and you're curving the chest in here. Do it one more time.
I should do it or I do it?
You are doing it a little bit more with the chest. So I want to see it more with the hips. One more time. Kick. Yeah. So that bend here, relax it, right? Relax, like take a deep breath. Relax your chest as much as you can. We're focusing specifically hips down today, right? Pick up one foot, doesn't matter which. Now, as you start to kick, I want you to kick from here. There you go. And now drop as you kick. Yes. Boom. Again, other foot. Turn. Try to feel the hand turn.
So the kick should be when the heel is on ground or in the...
That's something that's actually going to get in the way if you think about it. Okay? Because here's the reason why. Relax it for a second. Let me explain this one because this is really significant. When you are doing like a bounce in this, we naturally have this feeling that, oh yeah, as we go down, I allow my heels to hit the ground, right? Like I said, kiss the ground. However, the folding of our body has an effect on everything else. And so you'll actually see as I'm doing this, I am not perfectly hitting the ground with my heels because if I do, it actually changes my balance and how my legs are affected. So
it do the bounce.
Yeah.
You can stop it.
Exactly. So I'm still a little bit up. So my heels are getting close as I'm kicking, but not all the way. Okay? So I want you to actually see it. Put your hand right on my hip bone. Okay? Right there, okay? And I want you to feel that this rotation and how much is moving. There's a lot of turn there, yeah? So I'm actually with my leg in the air, focused on trying to rotate your hand as I'm doing these kicks, right? And even if I rotate the other side, your hand's not, like you feel it, but it's not moving as much. It's really like hip specific, yeah? So try to feel that much in your own hips of trying to turn them. And it's okay if the movement is totally new and unfamiliar. It takes a little bit of time to get used to it. That's better. I see the rotation now, and it engages your hips. So we have the bounce. We have good posture here. We've got ready for Lindy, ready for Charleston. And as we take our steps, we lead our movement with our hips, and we extend the hips forward into the kick. Oh, see, that looks better. And I think you'll notice, by the way, you can try to get the legs higher now. And I think you'll actually see that you'll get a lot more extension in the height, right, when you use the hips.
Yes, because it adds the move of the leg and the hip.
Exactly. Let's take that and let's talk quickly about the relationship between the knees and the feet and the hips, okay? So before I do the Charleston, let's actually say every kick should have multiple pieces attached to it. And so it comes in stages. This is the same, is true for anything in Lindy Hop. A triple step is not a step by itself. It has pieces that you can divide up, right? So if I'm going to do a Charleston kick, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm rotating my hip. And as I rotate my hip, my leg doesn't drag on the ground, the whole thing rotates, so it brings my foot up. Then I'm going to bring my knee up farther. And so I create a really nice angle here. Now I can actually decide where I want the kick to go. I can kick forward or I can kick down. And if I kick down, I'm kind of pushing pressure down through the knee to give me a downward kick. But it starts by rotating the hip and the knee and then creating a completely separate movement, a separate direction. 2, 3, 5, 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. Good. How does that feel?
Yes, the range of motion is bigger and I feel the dynamic and the bounce more.
There's more power there, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And your partner feels that too. This means that you can also lead more interesting stuff in Charleston. So like when you're dancing with a follower and you want to change up the rhythm or do something slow motion or speed it up, bigger steps, then this kind of power coming from your hips and your legs gives you a lot more opportunity to do that. Okay? And feel yourself moving one hip at a time, lifting and dropping. And as we do, very nice. We just compress through the stomach as we make that motion.
Besides the move of the hip, there is a second move with muscles of stomach, yes?
This is very cool to think about. So whenever we talk about a particular part of our body, we're usually talking about either a bone or a muscle, right?
Yes.
And so whenever we're talking about, like, for example, my elbow joint, right? And I might think about bending my elbow, but that's not the muscle that moves it. The muscle that moves your elbow is your bicep,
Yes.
right? Bicep pulls up, tricep pulls down. So the muscle that is actually activated to create the joints movement is a little bit higher up. Now the same thing is true here. When we're talking about the movement of the hips, we're talking about the bone. But in order to move the bone, we need a muscle. And the muscles to do that are more in the core and in the back. So it's this part that we activate, which is why it scrunches up, because the muscle itself is flexing. But the part of you that is actually moving as a result of that flex is the bone.
Okay, so the stomach is like the abs muscles are moving the hip.
Exactly. This is your energy source, and this is what you're intending to move, right? So whenever I talk about putting your hands on your belly to be able to feel that, it's not actually because we're moving our stomach anymore. You know, you can have this feeling of like compressing and extending your belly, and that's not really the point. Instead, we want to feel it scrunch and expand. And the scrunching feeling and expansion is not about moving the stomach, but about compressing and expanding the muscles that move the hips.
Okay.
Yes. I'm going to stand right here.
Okay.
Now you walk backwards. Walk right through me. Backwards.
Okay.
Stronger. Stronger. There you go. There you go. Try not to lose your posture, right? We don't want it to be like leaning backwards. We want it to be walking backwards.
Okay.
Yeah? So walk backwards, but really strong. Yes. Good. Okay? So now you're going to press on me for a second. I want to show you something. Okay? This is the feeling of me using my weight and gravity to control the movement. Okay?
Okay.
I don't weigh very much, do I?
No.
No. This is the feeling of me actually using my ankles, right? And I'm sliding on the floor, right? But you could feel how much more power.
Yes,
was
it's
there.
hard to keep.
Exactly. That's right here. Try one more time. Walk backwards and show me really strong. Nice. Good. Oh, I feel that way stronger. Now I'm like, again, and stay stable now, right? I'm sliding back as you're pushing. Good. All right, Olek, so that's going to do it for our private lesson today. Did you have fun?
Yes, I had a lot of fun and I learned a lot of things. So thank you.
I'm really glad to hear that. So, since you've been such a good sport with the video camera today and doing this on video, I've got a special gift for you.
Oh.
So this is one of our punch cards, and so this is actually good for my local lessons. There's 10 spots on here that you can use for all of the lessons that I do. So this is good for blues, this is good for Lindy Hop, this is good for Balboa, and we now have a solo jazz performance class as well. So you can decide what you want to take, and then you just let me know which one you want to join. Okay? So this is we're going to make this official. There's my name. Okay, go ahead and sign that for me. All right, and so this one is going to be good for the next 3 months. So, and that's yours to keep.
Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. I'm so glad you came down today. Thanks very much, Olek.
Thank you.